Hello. Welcome to the next in the series of review clips designed to help prepare you for your public exam review course, Biology 3201. In this clip, we're going to be focusing on the endocrine system, continuing our examination of how the endocrine system functions, specifically looking at means by which the endocrine system provides feedback and controls its function. There are times, however, when the endocrine system, like all body systems for that matter, doesn't function properly. By and large, these problems are related to how it is that the endocrine glands secrete their hormones. Problems are typically caused by either hyposecretion or hypersecretion of a hormone. By definition, hypersecretion is an oversecretion of hormones within the body, whereas hyposecretion is when there is not enough hormone being secreted, an undersecretion. The endocrine system operates primarily through what we call a feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanisms are controlled, or to provide a means of control for hormone release. Hormones are regulated on the basis of this feedback mechanism. Feedback mechanisms fit into one of two broad categories: negative feedback and positive feedback. The negative feedback mechanism, or loop, is a means by which the body works to reverse or decrease changes in the body. For example, if blood sugar levels are too high, the body will take steps to try and reduce blood sugar levels. Conversely, if blood sugar levels are too low, the body will take steps to try and raise them. The hypothalamus pituitary feedback mechanism provides a prime example of this. The hypothalamus releases a hormone, a releasing factor. This hormone will affect the pituitary gland. In turn, the pituitary gland will then release another hormone, which will be stimulating, which will affect its target gland, which then in turn would cause release of that target gland's hormone. Levels of the target gland, when they rise, they exhibit, they create, they cause a negative feedback loop on hormone 2 back to the pituitary gland. This reduces the release of stimulating hormone, which in then turn affects the target gland, which would reduce the level of the target gland hormone. The levels of the target gland hormones as well exhibits a negative feedback loop back on the hypothalamus. This would cause a reduction in the production of hormone level 1. So by affecting hormone 1, the releasing factor, and the pituitary gland, levels are reduced when the target gland hormone rises. Positive feedback, on the other hand, is a mechanism that serves to increase the effect of an action. These are relatively rare in the human body. The most obvious example is the production of oxytocin. Oxytocin is a hormone that affects and triggers labor in the female body towards the end of pregnancy. When the female has the water break, the uterine water breaks, this causes pressure to be exerted on the cervix. When the pressure is exerted on the cervix, this triggers the release of oxytocin, which causes the uterus to contract, which causes more pressure on the cervix, which then causes the release of additional oxytocin, which causes additional uterine contractions, It is this phenomenon which accounts for the fact that during pregnancy, during the labor process, contractions do two things. They get closer and closer together, and they get stronger in duration. This is caused because of the positive feedback loop which oxytocin is being subjected to. This provides an example of a type of question you may very well see on your public exam. The question is, which disease is caused by excessive production of thyroxine by the thyroid gland? The key word here, excessive production. Too much. Hypothyroidism is when the body does not secrete enough. Diabetes mellitus has no bearing on the thyroid gland. Gigantism, that is caused by growth hormone from the pituitary. The correct answer is hyperthyroidism. Hyper, remember, is when your body produces too much of a particular hormone. This question from a previous public examination asks, which hormone might a doctor give to an expectant mother to stimulate uterine contractions and induce labor? This question asks which hormone is involved in the positive feedback loop that contributes to the labor process. Insulin affects the pancreas, is secreted by the pancreas and affects blood sugar levels. Thyroxine involved with metabolism, the thyroid gland. Prolactin involved in milk production. The correct answer is B, oxytocin. And this last question, which would result if the thyroid gland were not stimulated? Again, were not stimulated during a negative feedback loop. Your choices are: the hypothalamus would be inhibited. Again, this would not be the case because the hypothalamus does not affect, has no bearing on the feedback loop. It's not producing hormone, therefore would not be inhibited. If the thyroid gland were not stimulated, most obvious choice is the thyroid gland would not secrete its hormone. Thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this learning clip helpful.